What would you do if the person everyone fears is the only one who understands your child? Get away from her. That girl might bite. The security guard's voice exploded through the marble lobby of Wardstone Corporation. Loud. Public. Final. Not aimed at the child. Aimed at him. Marcus Williams froze, his mop still in his hands, every pair of eyes turning toward him at once. He felt it instantly. The tension. The assumption. The silent agreement in the room. At the center of the polished floor, a small blonde girl crouched low, rocking back and forth. Her arms were locked around her knees, her body folded inward as if trying to disappear. Her blue eyes darted wildly, overwhelmed by light, sound, space. Sensory overload. Marcus recognized it in a heartbeat. Around her, executives in tailored suits stood back, whispering in low, nervous tones. Words floated through the air like excuses dressed as expertise. Episode. Behavioral issue. Liability. No one knelt. No one spoke to her. No one saw her. Marcus was 42 years old. For 17 years, he had been a special education teacher. For 16 more, he had been the father of an autistic daughter, learning how cruel the world could be when it demanded obedience instead of understanding. He took a step forward. "Can I help?" he asked calmly. The security guard blocked him instantly, arms stretched out like a wall. "You're just the night janitor. Stay out of this." Just. That single word carried everything. His job. His skin. His place. Marcus didn't argue. He didn't explain. He didn't defend himself. Instead, he looked past the guard and met the girl's eyes. For a fraction of a second, the noise vanished. There it was. That same trapped look. The one he had seen years ago in his own daughter's eyes, when the world decided she was a problem instead of a person. Without another word, Marcus turned to his cleaning cart. He picked up a small bottle of detergent and walked back, ignoring the tightening silence behind him. Slowly, deliberately, he sat down on the cold Italian marble floor, leaving space between himself and the child. No authority. No commands. No expectations. He dipped his fingers into the bucket and blew. One bubble drifted into the air. Then another. Then another. The girl's rocking slowed. Her breathing softened. Her eyes locked onto the floating colors, fragile and weightless, moving without demanding anything from her. Each bubble carried something away. Fear. Noise. Pressure. Above them, unseen by Marcus, a woman watched from the mezzanine, her hand pressed tightly to her mouth. For the first time in years, Eva was calm. And the man who made it possible was the one everyone else had already decided didn't belong there. Before we continue, subscribe to this channel. Because these are real stories about people who were underestimated, judged from the outside, and proved the world wrong. Now, let's continue. Gabrielle Ward had built her empire by controlling chaos. She stood on the mezzanine, looking down at the lobby she owned, at the people she employed, at the child she loved more than anything in the world. And yet, for the first time, she felt completely powerless. Eva was calm. Not sedated. Not restrained. Not corrected. Calm. And the reason was impossible to ignore. A black janitor sitting on the floor. Gabrielle felt something tighten in her chest. Relief, yes. But also something far more uncomfortable. Recognition. Because she knew the truth she had spent years avoiding. If that man had been wearing a suit, no one would have stopped him. If his skin had been lighter, no one would have shouted. If his job title had sounded important, no one would have questioned his presence. She took the elevator down. When she reached the lobby, the executive straightened instantly, already preparing explanations. Marcus didn't look up. He was focused on Eva, who now lay on her side, watching a single bubble float just above her face. "Mr. Williams," Her voice cut through the space. Marcus stood slowly. He didn't rush. He didn't apologize. He had already accepted the outcome. People like him always paid a price for stepping out of line. He expected anger, a warning, termination. Instead, when he finally met Gabrielle's eyes, he saw something that unsettled him far more. Gratitude. The kind that comes too late. The kind that arrives after damage is already done. "Come with me," she said. Marcus glanced once more at Eva, calm and quiet on the marble floor, then nodded. As they walked toward the elevator, whispers followed them. Not about the child. About him. Because compassion looks suspicious when it comes from someone the system never intended to listen to. 3 days passed before Gabrielle Ward broke the silence. The call came late at night, during Marcus's shift. The tone in her voice was different now. Less command. More hesitation. "Eva hasn't eaten," she said without greeting. "She hasn't drawn. She hasn't spoken. She's regressing." Marcus paused, mop resting against the tiled wall of an executive bathroom that smelled of money and disinfectant. "And what do you want from me?" he asked calmly. "Accept my offer. Please." Marcus exhaled slowly. "My terms haven't changed. No supervision. No stopwatches. No reports." There was a long pause. "Agreed." The next morning, Marcus arrived at Gabrielle's Upper East Side penthouse with his 16-year-old daughter, Zoe. She carried a backpack stuffed with art supplies, her posture relaxed, observant. A girl who had learned early how to read rooms that were never built for her. "I thought Eva might benefit from someone closer to her age," Marcus explained. "She's 16, Gabrielle said carefully. Eva is 8. Sometimes distance creates safety." Zoe smiled politely. "Hi, Mrs. Ward. I brought some things Eva might like." Eva sat in the corner of her room, curled in on herself like always. But when she saw Zoe, something shifted. Zoe sat on the floor without hesitation, pulling out watercolor paints and textured paper. "You don't have to talk," she said gently. "We can just paint." Minutes passed. Then Eva reached forward. Colors blended. Shapes emerged. Zoe narrated softly, turning colors into stories. Blue wanting to hug the sky. Yellow laughing like sunlight. After 2 hours, Gabrielle stood frozen. Eva whispered a word. "Orange." Gabrielle felt her chest tighten. Her daughter hadn't spoken in days. But the moment shattered when the intercom buzzed. "Dr. Peton is here for Eva's session." Gabrielle's face hardened. Dr. Harrison Peton entered like he owned the apartment. Harvard degree. Perfect suit. $15,000 per session. He stopped short when he saw Eva painting calmly beside Zoe. "What is this?" he demanded. "Who are these people?" When Marcus spoke, Peton laughed. "Ah. A teacher. Let me guess. Community college. Big heart. No science. Columbia. Master's degree." 17 years, Marcus replied evenly. "And yes. I believe patience works better than arrogance." Eva stiffened. Gabrielle saw it instantly. "Dr. Peton," she said quietly, "perhaps we should reschedule." Peton scoffed, collecting his briefcase. "When this fails, don't say I didn't warn you." After he left, the apartment fell silent. Eva returned to painting. For the first time, Gabrielle began to wonder how many times she had mistaken confidence for competence. That night, Gabrielle couldn't sleep. For 3 uninterrupted hours, Eva had been calm. Engaged. Present. Something no expert had ever achieved. And the man responsible had been dismissed the moment he walked into the room. Marcus noticed everything. Not just Eva's reactions. Gabrielle's too. The way she flinched at authority. The way she filmed quietly, needing proof even as her world shifted. As Marcus walked home through the dark streets, he sent a message to a contact he hadn't used in months. "I need a favor. Tomorrow night." The reply came instantly. "I thought you gave that up." "I gave up a lot when my wife died," Marcus typed. "Some battles are worth waiting for." Days later, the Wardstone Biotech Medical Board convened in an emergency meeting. Petan was furious. "This is reckless," he snapped. "An unqualified janitor influencing treatment." "Soap bubbles are not therapy," another doctor sneered. Gabrielle listened silently, eyes drifting to photos of Eva painting, smiling. Then the door opened. Marcus entered wearing a simple suit. Behind him stood a silver-haired woman. "I requested his presence," she said calmly. "Dr. Sarah Chun, editor-in-chief of the Journal of Child Psychology." Petan paled. Marcus opened his briefcase. "Over 4 years cleaning this building," he said, "I overheard conversations. Saw documents. Noticed patterns." He slid copies across the table. Identical reports. Different dates. Copy and paste therapy. $15,000 per session. "That's illegal," Dr. Chun said flatly. "And unethical," Marcus added. Eva wasn't the only child. 17 families. Inflated treatments. No progress. Maximum profit. Petan stammered. Threatened. Postured. "With what money?" Marcus asked gently. "Federal investigations began this morning." The room collapsed into chaos. Later, alone with Gabrielle, Marcus closed his briefcase. "Why help me?" she asked. "Because Eva deserved better," he said. "And because justice needs witnesses people ignore." Gabrielle's phone buzzed. A message from Zoe. "Eva said a full sentence today. Daddy Marcus coming back tomorrow." Gabrielle covered her mouth, tears falling freely for the first time in years. "She called you daddy." Marcus smiled softly. "Children know who shows up." 6 months later, Marcus Williams stood under blinding lights at the Jacob Javits Convention Center. More than 3,000 mental health professionals were on their feet, applauding. Not politely. Not professionally. Fully, emotionally, without restraint. Beside Marcus stood Eva. She clutched a pink microphone with both hands, the one she had chosen herself after insisting that colors mattered. Her posture was shy, but her eyes were steady. "My name is Eva," she said. Her voice echoed through the vast hall, clear and strong. "And this is Daddy Marcus. He taught me that being different doesn't mean I'm broken." The room erupted. In the front row, Gabrielle Ward wiped away tears without bothering to hide them. The boardrooms, the press releases, the carefully controlled image had all fallen away. She was just a mother now. A woman watching her child reclaim her voice. Behind the applause lay wreckage. Dr. Petan and Dr. Foster were finished. Federal investigations had exposed years of fraud. Identical reports. Inflated fees. Deliberate prolonging of ineffective treatments. Licenses revoked. Fines exceeding $2 million each. Lawsuits piling up from families who had trusted them with their children. Petan now sold insurance over the phone in Newark. Foster drove rideshare in Montana, hoping no one recognized his name. Marcus continued speaking. "The Williams Award Program for Neurodiverse Inclusion isn't about fixing children," he said. "It's about listening to them." The foundation he and Gabrielle had created had already trained over 500 educators. The so-called bubble method had been studied, documented, validated. 17 academic papers. 86% improvement rates compared to traditional approaches. Zoe, now 17, had become a national advocate. Her testimony before Congress had helped pass legislation guaranteeing access to alternative therapies in public health care. Eva stepped forward again. "Daddy Marcus says," she smiled, "we're all works of art." Some of us just need different paints. Parents cried openly. Professionals took frantic notes. Journalists typed without looking at their screens. 3 years earlier, Eva had been labeled unreachable. Now she was teaching the world. Gabrielle stepped down as CEO of Wardstone Biotech months later. Her fortune, once devoted to acquisitions and dominance, now funded inclusion centers across 16 states. The Wall Street Journal featured her on its cover. From the boardroom to the floor, how a CEO learned to lead on her knees. People often asked Marcus if he felt angry about the years he spent cleaning bathrooms instead of teaching. He always smiled. "Those years taught me how to observe," he said. "How to listen. How to see value where others only see invisibility." Eva, now 12, painted scenes that sold in New York galleries. Every dollar went back into inclusion programs. Zoe documented their journey, turning quiet moments into stories that reached millions. The Williams method was taught at 43 universities. Marcus kept his old janitor's uniform framed in his office. Beneath it, a small plaque read, "Reminder of when people thought they knew who I was." On the drive home from a gala honoring innovation in special education, Eva slept in Gabrielle's lap. Her fingers were stained blue and yellow from the artwork she had led earlier that evening. "Do you know what changed everything?" Gabrielle asked quietly. Marcus looked out the window as the city lights blurred past. "What?" "You refused the place they assigned you. If you had stayed invisible, Eva would still be silent. And so would hundreds of other children." Marcus smiled. "Sometimes the best revenge isn't destroying those who underestimate you," he said. "It's proving them so wrong that the whole world notices." Eva stirred, half asleep, murmuring colors. Outside, the city kept moving. Inside the car, something permanent had shifted.